This episode of Verbal Tap brought to you by NogiBJJGear.com.
Use the promotional code VerbalTap15 to get 15% off of your order. Do it!
Is the moment UFC fans around the world have been waiting for.
Hitting record, Raph, because you and I are on location at Fight Island. We're not, but F it. We might as
Could
well be. They don't know. They wouldn't know press-wise. Weird card orders. I still haven't seen the Mortal Kombat uniforms. It's time for Verbal Tap to show the proofs fighting way easier from outside the cage. You brought someone on again.
I did.
This is Raph Esparza. Raph, why do you do this to me with the young and the talented? What's the deal here?
It's fun to me, so I'm entertained by it. And then I think it's fun to the audience as well. So, it's not really anything bad here. Should we talk about what we need to talk about in terms of sponsorship, though, real quick?
Absolutely. You and I are as happy as we've never been. Is that going to make their highlight reel?
They'll be fine.
The Nogi grappling gear. So you and I have finally hit a point in our successful endeavor where we get to talk about Nogi BJJ gear and all of their amazing equipment. People must have already been. Raph, what's your favorite rash guard?
Well, one, I'm excited to tell our guest about in a second when we reveal him, because there is an actual T-shirt that says #CoronaWeightChamp. And if you've seen this guy, I mean, I guess he could qualify because he did win an 8-man tournament, and he does get the chance to avenge one Craig Jones in a second. So if you would like to go to the website, that is Nogi BJJ Gear. Go to that.com, and then you can find Corona Weight Champion. And if you want 15% off your order, use the code VerbalTap15, all one word. Anyway, enough on that.
Could you
Our guest
please
today,
use the verbal tap word? Go ahead, Raph.
our guest today is an excellent competitor. We are excited to see him compete at Sug Island. It's not quite Fight Island, but could be better depending on how things shake out this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show for the very first time here, one Mason Fowler. Mason, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Doing good.
Mason, good. Glad to hear that. Are you in the middle of preparation for trying to rip off Craig Jones's eye as retaliation for what he's done in the past?
Yeah, most of the preparation's pretty much finished. It's the last couple days leading up now. Just a couple more hard sessions, but I feel like the grind is pretty much behind us now.
Interesting. Are you excited? Like, where are you on the scale? Because this is a very impactful weekend. Like, they picked a very prime weekend to give you for exposure this weekend, sir.
Yeah, no, it's great because you have probably the biggest card of the year. Huge card on Fight Island, the first fight on Fight Island. And then you have Submission to Underground the next day on UFC Fight Pass. So the good thing about that is hopefully they're going to do some kind of preview during the fight card, which would be amazing. It would be a lot of exposure.
Will that be weird if they say your name in the middle of that fight card? Like, if you hear John Anik take a moment and go, of course, this one's top lined by Mason Fowler versus Craig Jones.
Yeah, if Anik does the flower, man, I might just give up at that point.
It's Chael's
I might
fault.
just change my name just so that might as well at this point.
Fair enough. Well, Mason, I want you to get to know Kevin because I brought you here to take on his UFC picks. But, it's always customary for the guest to get to know a little bit about the co-host. So, Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself? And, Kevin, you should tell him up front. You picked him at Submission Underground 14 or 15. I don't remember.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't want to, immediately jump in. I wanted to make you say it. I wanted to draw it out so I didn't seem desperate to get Mason to like me.
Sure.
Because you know how people want to impress these highfalutin athletes with all their ass kissery, like I had you from the start. But ass kissery switch flipped. Yeah, Mason, I liked your vibe. I enjoyed the dominance of the first match. I thought you pulled kind of a pretty good submission upset on the second one, so I was all in. Do you feel like you're talking to a smarter journalist than you normally do while you're talking to someone who predicted your victory?
Well, now I just feel like I'm talking to my best friend. We got a little connection, you know, since you picked me as your Pokemon.
Yeah, we did equal parts work on that.
I feel like I owe you half the money, honestly.
Oh no, that was the fact that I was even taking credit felt pretty Trumpy on me. So I'll just but the humbleness you talk about in your matches kind of comes through, because that's, you get the chance to talk after the 8-man. You kind of seemed a little out of breath and complimentary of your opponents. But now that you've reflected, how's it feel to whip some ass on one of like the most fun grappling tournaments in a while?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives that come out of it. I was really excited to get a rematch against Roberto because he's beaten me twice in the gi, and we've never had a match no gi. And I've really, ever since he beat me the first time in the gi, I really wanted to get a crack at him no gi, because I feel that I'm a little bit better no gi and he's a little bit better in the gi. And then on top of that, I've earned my rematch with Craig, which there's a lot of controversy in the first match. And then on top of that, you get a check for $10,000. So there's a lot of good things that happen from the tournament.
I forgot to ask you, did you do anything with the $10,000? Do you still have it? I guess that's the first question we should go with.
Yeah, no, I just threw it in the savings in the gym fund. I got a little savings for the day I decide to open at the gym, so that way I won't have to like take out a loan or have any investors or anything. I can kind of just do it all on my own.
I like your soundness, but this is only speaking to the need to give you some edge. We need to start some rumors, Raph, to give Mason a little, like, this isn't going to work for the press. Like, oh, well, I put it in the savings. I want to start a gym. I want to do it my way. Like, we got to get something salacious here. So, Raph, I'm thinking, I heard $2,000 of it went to a full cocaine pyramid at the after.
Mm-hmm.
And that he and Chael were yelling, we're gods, and just went at it. That's what I heard. I can't confirm nor deny. I don't want to talk about my sources.
See, that's what you heard.
Trouble.
I heard something different. I heard that he went on a $3,000 full-scale bikini wax so that he can slip off of Craig Jones and build in the next drama for the next rematch.
He's been doing a really thick skin oil treatment.
Yeah.
It's part of the Wagner. We don't want to spoil his secrets.
We don't. No.
Any of those true, Mason? Can you confirm nor deny all of them with just one answer?
Honestly, man, if I was a little bit younger, then for sure it would have been crazy. The money would have been gone within a week. But now I'm a little older, a little bit smarter. So sorry, no story for you guys.
Not today, but don't worry. The week is young. Monday's headlines will be not favorable to you because Kevin and I have already written them. So I guess the question is now, we're excited about this. Are you even going to get the opportunity? Are you going to take the time to actually watch the fights this weekend? Because I don't know what people do in their prep. And some people doesn't even fit on their radar. Does it fit on your radar normally to watch UFCs?
Oh yeah. Like, last time we watched the UFC, it was a smaller card, but we watched it the night before in the hotel. And, yeah, I mean, this one's a pay-per-view. I don't really want to pay for it, but I don't really want to like go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings and watch it either. So I think we might just have to pay for it and watch it in the room. I'll definitely still watch it. I don't want to just like sit there and be thinking about the match the next day all night. Right. It's good to get like a little distraction.
How invested are you in Masvidal? I don't want to give away your pick just yet, but this has been a wacky week full of headlines. So you had Burns, who was in it, and then suddenly he was out of it. Then you have Masvidal. Have you been keeping up with the headlines? Are you intrigued by this? Is this a match you always wanted?
Yeah, honestly, I'm an MMA fan first. That's why that's even what brought me to jiu-jitsu. I was doing MMA first, and so yeah, I'm definitely aware of all the craziness that's been going on. And man, I think it worked out perfect because they got all the press. Burns being out, all the press of Masvidal stepping in on short notice. So now I think it's going to be even bigger than if they had originally slated Masvidal as the main event to begin with.
Now, I have to ask this because I don't cut weight, obviously. But when you saw that Masvidal took a short trip to Italy to get some pizza en route to having to cut weight for this week, where on the Mason Fowler scale of I wouldn't do that to, I don't know, maybe I would do that, does that fall?
I would never do that, but that's because I am naturally I'm naturally big, and it's really hard for me to like get to that lean, shredded look. I have to like starve myself for months to anytime I cut weight. It's just my body type. Masvidal, he's always been that way. Like I've been following him for a while, and he always is like eating wings when he's in fight camp. But he used to fight at 155, and now it's at 170. So all the headlines are saying he has to cut 20 pounds, but I honestly think that he's just saying that. I think he's a little bit closer.
Interesting. Kev, would you have stopped to get pizza in Italy?
100%. I mean, I would have stopped to truthfully try and sample some sort of adult beverage mixed with like a local hallucinogen. If they put that on pizza, great.
Fair enough. Now, here's an interesting little twist. Again, I know you love Kevin because he picked you, but Mason, there is an element of trash talk that I am going to require in just a minute. So is there stuff that you would like to ask Kevin before we go ahead and start as a form of cross-examination? It's only fair.
Yeah, the thing you got to know before you start trash talking someone is you got to know what belt they are.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, I already know. I think that you're a black belt, correct? Which is that's.
I am. I just don't wear one yet. I wear a brown belt, but I consider myself to be a black belt.
Oh, okay. Oh no, that actually is helpful. Maybe I didn't look at the picture correct. I'm not staring at it. Because I saw a purple one in here. I thought I saw a shell of and a little bit of ghee, but sure, okay. I'm a purple belt, but a little bit sharper no ghee game than ghee game because I don't love the pajamas. A grip laziness, I think.
Yeah, perfect. As long as you're a purple belt or below, then I'll have no moral issues roasting you on the podcast.
Perfect.
Now, I don't know Mason's roast game. I know that he has sent me notes back a couple times when I've put up memes or we've said things in jest. But I don't know your personal roast game. Are you a person that normally roasts people when you roll, or where does it start and stop with you?
You gotta ask every purple belt that's on our team.
Well, that sounds like I need to do references, and it is too late to do that.
No, I'm willing to call all of them.
Stranger, you know?
I want names and numbers. Mason, give me all the purple belts. No, I'll text 3 of them and be like, "Hey, this D head's getting mouthy. I need some help." And I'm gonna know exactly how mean you are on the mats by their willingness. People are just gonna send it to you. They're gonna be like, "He's trying, Mason." I wouldn't even talk back, and that's how I'll know you're a jerk on the mat. Sometimes that's how I'll know, Raph.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from? Hold on. I get one more.
Go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
Do we lose him?
Where am I from? I'm from Fresno, but I'm training here in San Jose with under Kyle Terra.
Okay. Well, I knew about the Kyotera part because after watching you fight the second, I was like, "Where's he out of?" Everybody's like, "Kyotera." I was like, "Oh, okay, that checks out."
You know who's really the best at roasting people, which you wouldn't think, but it's Kyle.
Fascinating. Why?
Does somebody give him a microphone? Like, how do you hear it?
No, just like during class or during training. He's the best. He's black belt at roasting people for sure.
Is he roasting technique? Because that's something I often see with black belts as a usual shit talker in my lineage. I see most people talk shit about the passing and all of their jiu-jitsu, and that never affects me. Like, I'm always like, you have to pick another lane here. That's not going to affect me.
No, it's everything. He would find your deepest, darkest insecurity and then just demolish you.
That's funny. All right. Good to know. And would you say that you're picking on purple belts and below? Would you get like a visitor who comes in and they're a brown belt? Do you just look at them and go, okay, I'll let you live? But anybody below?
No. But just as far as like the shit talking and the hazing and the lower belts always just get it worse.
Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. Mason, do you have any other further questions for Kevin? Now, mind you, Kevin's already loaded up, and I think you telling him that you're from Fresno might have given him more ammunition than I think is equally fair.
Oh God, yeah, I got nothing on him. I didn't do my research. I don't know. I'll take my chances with what I got. All I know is he's a purple belt.
All right. I was just saying, I know you didn't get the chance to do your prelim research, but I always allow the opportunity. Kev, do you have one last question for him?
Yeah. Is there a particular loss that eats at you that you think, that one I should have, I'd want back?
Yeah, no, the Craig one's the worst one for sure because it's at ADCC. It was in the quarterfinals. The next match, he tapped the guy really quick. He's a good guy, John Blank. He's a 10th Planet black belt.
Yeah, Thor.
Thor. But man, I think that especially with the ADCC rule set, I think that was a very winnable match for me as well. And then I'm in the final, against Denise, and even rewatching. I rewatched this week some of Denise's matches, and he's really scrappy. He definitely likes to wrestle, and I think that I'm a little bit better technically wrestling than him. So man, if you go back and score those points for me, then I think I had a pretty good shot at actually, for sure, making podium, but maybe even leaving with the gold medal, and the ADCC gold medal will change your life. So that's definitely the one. Just everything that was on the line, and the fact that I got robbed as well. That one keeps me up at night for sure.
I will tell you this. I was watching the ADCC replay. Were you, or is that happening independent of it? Because reliving a lot of that, I remembered, we were doing a fight companion with that too. And I remember being really excited for your story. And I was like, dude, Craig's a tough match, period. But this will be fun. And it was a very, very close and fun match to watch all around, though.
Yeah, and also I think that Craig was the number 1 seed in the bracket, and I think all the guys that were in the bracket that year, stylistically, he was one of the toughest matches for me. So the fact that I was that close to pulling that one out, I think it would have I would have had a pretty good shot at actually winning the tournament.
Good. All right. I think that's going to take us to the game. Kevin, it's time we transition to the game of Over Under Kevin.
Hold on. I don't have the music cued at
What
all,
the fuck?
though, Raph. It's not even remotely ready.
I literally could not have stalled more for you to have a sound cue ready.
But that just wasn't enough because the phone nearly died.
No! There we go. I swear to God, you spent all this time making one goddamn song to be played as a sound cue. And then, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listen to this part of the show. If you are right now, we're happy. If not, you can fuck off. But here's what we got for you. This is our version of Over Under Kevin. It's a game where we essentially give both participants, Kevin and a guest, today Mason Fowler, the opportunity to pick who they think is going to win in every single fight on the UFC 251 card, a.k.a. Fight Island, the beginning, a.k.a. COVID, maybe in 70% of the fighters. Who knows? Anyway, we do the game as follows. We give each participant 15 seconds to say who they think is going to win as we pull the fights out of order, and whoever gets the most right technically wins. However, we tend to acknowledge and respect those who talk the most trash. Do you both understand the rules? Kevin, do you understand the rules?
I have never once given a flying ADCC about the rules. Prepare to get Craig Jones part 2'd.
Oh, God. Mason, do you have a response to that before I go ahead and start giving you time to pick?
Man, I hope that I don't get Craig Jones Part 2 on Saturday, because then Part 3 is coming on Sunday. So I only need one part of my Craig Jones series in one weekend.
Fair enough. I guess we'll reveal a little bit more information to him a little bit later. But first, Kevin, you're going to lead us off in a featherweight bout between Jamiroquai versus Danny Henry. Go.
This is an early dose of, hey, how exactly many cards are on the under? I'm going to go with Americani because of violent tattoos. An oldie but a goodie.
All right. Kevin is going for tattoos
I
on
also
this
like
one.
that as a band name, Violent Tattoos. I'm gonna,
Absolutely. Mason, I've got 15 seconds for you. Do you have Marquand or Danny? Go.
Yeah, so my pick is Danny Henry, and the reason why is because I cannot pronounce the other guy's name. That's it.
Technically, not a terrible reason to pick. We just kind of do our best on this show to figure out who's who. And sometimes...
he's just picking people that have other tall tale sounding names like Derrick Henry, John Henry, Mason Fowler. It sounds like somebody that went through some dirt on their way out to California. I get it. I already hear what he's doing.
I understand.
The guy sounds like he could be my cousin or something, So I gotta go for the guy.
Absolutely, Mason. We're going to keep the momentum going with you. It's a women's bantamweight bout between Kale Rosa and Vanessa Mello. Go.
Wow. Let's go Vanessa Mello on this one.
Okay. All right. He sounds confident about that one. Kevin, what do you have for us?
I actually enjoy his choice too because Mello's fun to scream, but I have got to go. I always go with the fighter who's got a little bit more abs. So I'm going with Rosa. This is a pure fighters are supposed to have abs fight.
Right.
That's my
Gotcha.
choice.
Thank you very much. All right. Are you starting to notice, though, right now, any fear in Kevin Mason? Do you seem like he's kind of faltering so far in his analysis?
Man, honestly, I'm scared. He picked me for Submission Underground, so he's got good picks. So I'm actually kind of nervous for this one.
I should reveal Kevin's normal batting average. But
I'd
let's
be nervous
go on.
if he was from Stockton.
I only heard one episode.
But Fresno, what's he gonna do? Come over here, fix my printer? I mean, I'm fine.
In my defense, I've only heard one show, and he picked right, so he's batting 1,000 in my eyes.
It's fair. Ignorance is the best defense anybody ever has. Anyway, Kevin, you're going to tell us who's going to win a women's flyweight bout between Amanda Ribas, weird, and Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah, I gotta go. Even though it's a worse record, and I can't. I gotta go with Ribas. I was trying to talk myself into Van Zandt, but I can't. Ribas is a killer. That one's gonna end early. That's my prediction.
All right, Mason, you got 15. Go.
Yeah, no, I definitely wish that my little boo thing, Paige Van Zandt, got it done. But I think the UFC setting her up for this one. She was asking for more money. And I think that they want her to take a loss, and I think it's the last fight on her contract, so I got Ribas.
Okay, let me ask, point of clarification here. What did you refer to Paige as?
My little boo thing.
Okay. Kevin, can you clarify for us what my little boo thing is?
No, she's just like my celebrity crush, But she's
no,
sir.
I'm
just
sir.
gonna keep it on Instagram.
Mason,
my Instagram
the question was addressed to Kevin Phillips. I will come to a rebuttal to you in a moment, but Kevin,
I cannot.
Okay.
But Masons are never listening. They just always assume you are talking to them.
Fair. Now, let me ask this though.
Did he pick Ribas? Was that the pick? I should have written it down. Okay, cool.
He did pick Ribas. Mason, how long have you had a crush on Paige Van Zandt?
Man, I've been following her since she was actually supposed to be on one of the Ultimate Fighter houses, like before she ever got into the UFC. So it's been a while, years.
Okay. All right. I'm just glad that you were able to pay some respect to Mr. Van Zandt and let him know you wouldn't approach upon that sort of a thing because you were a gentleman.
No, absolutely not.
Good man. All right, we're moving on. Bantamweight. This one, Mason, you give us 15 seconds to tell us who is going to win between Davy Grant and Martin Day. Go.
I am going to pick. I'll go Davy Grant on this one because I've never seen Martin Day fight.
Okay. Kevin, same question, but 15 seconds to you as well.
I lost the lead role in the Goodbye Girl musical my senior year to a guy named Tim Day.
Yeah.
So I know what they're capable of. So I'm gonna go with Mikey Day here and avoid being disappointed and beating
That's
him
a
again.
Martin Day. Mikey Day is
Martin
on
Day,
SNL.
excuse me. Martin Day.
He was also a part of the Tonight Show, which is why I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about my coworker? Never mind. Anyway, Kevin, you've got a bantamweight that you need to figure out is going to win. Is it Peter Yan or no way Jose Aldo? Go.
I am really struggling with this one, and I think it's because, well, first of all, talk about abs for both fighters. But I'm struggling with, I think, what the idea is of Jose Aldo versus the actuality. I'm going to go with Peter Yan. I'm Yan.
Yan. Okay. How about you? I've got to ask you, Mason, do you believe in Peter Yan or is it no way Jose? Go.
Yeah, I believe in him, but I'm 50-50 on this fight. But just to not be on the same team as Kevin, I'm picking Aldo.
Fascinating.
Oh, I don't know that I hate that I'm jealous of his pick.
Are you already starting to regret it, Kevin?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. Mason, do you think he's regretting it?
He definitely regrets it. You
Got
can
it.
hear it in his voice.
Absolutely. Kevin, let's have Mason tell us who's going to win between Marcin Tibura, which sounds like two parts of a bone,
Awesome.
and
name, though.
Maxim Gershon. That's a fake name. That is a fake. Maxim Gershon is 100% a fake name. Anyway, Mason, 15 seconds. Marcin or Maxim?
Yeah, I'm going to go Marcin. I think he's more well-rounded. He had a really good fight with Derek Lewis a couple years ago, and he has some really good technical grappling and technical striking.
Can't tell. He might have cut out there for a second.
It's possible, but bad news for Grisham.
Okay.
He's unpictured. He does not have a picture. So it's just Grisham is not enough. The ESPN was like, can't get it. Can't do it. It's a week before Fight Island. I don't know where he is. So I'm going to go with him. I'm going with the unpictured.
Fascinating. You back with us, Mason?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, just sounded like you took a little stumble there, and I wasn't sure what happened, but we're glad to have you still. Now, Kevin, we're going to keep this party going with you. Ooh, maybe we should mention this to Mason. He brought up earlier about how he might fare against Craig and that he wouldn't want this to be a loss. But maybe you should mention how you did against Craig Jones when he played this game last against you.
Well, let's just say Craig knows what it's like for a little taste of his own medicine. I heel hooked that mofo by predicting, a scant 9 of the fights correct, and he only had 8. So suck it. And I called him in that the Craig Leg Reaper. In this, I called you Fowler Hardly Knower.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the title will be helpful, but just to let you know, I'm taking in some pretty big names over here myself. Or do you feel vindicated that I've beaten your nemesis?
No, yeah, we're on the same team. At least one of us has a win over him, honestly.
I would tell you this, though. Craig was not happy to lose this and actually delayed coming back on the show a couple of weeks because I'm pretty sure he used his aloofness that Craig does to be like, oh, yeah, mate, I'm sorry. I'm feeling under the weather again. And I was like, stop getting sick. You probably started COVID here in the States, among other things.
Well, I don't know if that's a fair blame, but That's what Mason Fowler said. So
It is
leading
true.
into their fights.
That'll be what we say on Monday. Anyway, welterweight bout. This one has 4 names, 2 of which I recognize. But Kevin, you're going to tell me, is it Elizu Zaleski dos Santos versus Muslim Salikov? Kev?
Yeah, come on down to Zelensky Auto Parts, and that's all I could think about. Plus, you get some good odds. I'm going with Zaleski dos Santos because he makes car parts for the American working fighter. That's
Fair
what he is. That's what he cares about. And he's from Brazil, by the way, so it doesn't even make sense.
Mason, who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Muslim Salikov because he only has 2 names, and I think my man's gonna get it done.
So it seems on this one, Kev, that Mason is doing the opposite of the IBJJF, where instead of giving you the advantage to the person with the most names, he's actually reduced it down to just 2. It's like, nah, buddy. I see you with your 5 names and your hyphen. Get out of here. Goes to the American.
Yup. And I was about to be extremely impressed if Mason Fowler didn't have a middle name. But do you?
Yeah, my middle name's Edward.
Oh, uh-oh. So,
The widest middle name.
classic
possible.
3-name concern.
Yeah, IBJJF puts my name like in any of my old videos in the database under Mason Edward.
Oh,
It's like, man,
that's
you guys have to do me like that.
Man, I mean, Mason and Edward, I do like the fact that we were both excited to hear what your middle name was, and then both kind of go, oh, that's nice. Yeah, that'll work. But I think it took a sadder turn when we heard that Flow Grappling is using it against you, because we know that they're doing that on purpose. And I'll be sure to put in a formal complaint with them. But Mason, in the meantime, tell us who's going to win the strawweight bout in the women's category between Jessica Andrade and Rose Namajunas. Go.
Yeah, this is a great fight. I mean, the pay-per-view card is so stacked. But if you rewatch the first fight, Rose was clearly winning until she made the mistake.
Uh-oh.
And Andrade knocked her out with that huge slam. So I got Rose on this one. If she fights smart, I think technically she's way better than Andrade.
Okay, Kev, do you get all that? She was winning until she wasn't. Do you agree with that assessment?
I am going to. Well, he's going with Namajunas, right? That was ultimately. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to. I don't exactly remember how this fight ended. I just remember feeling like Namajunas was probably on the back run, but Vegas agrees with him. I don't.
So you're going for Jessica on this one.
I'm going with Andrade, and that hurts for the Colorado reasons that you would think.
I agree.
People are going to be like, you're going against Thug Rose. She's taller. She's meaner. It's like, yeah, I know, but gotta.
Well, on this one, Kev, I'm putting 30 seconds on the clock because it's our co-main event. So tell me who you think is going to win between Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Go.
I'm pretty excited for this fight. I would like to declare that this is not going to be great. This is like part of my terrible. I can't bet on Max Holloway accurately. I've never been able to. Doesn't matter which fight, I fuck it up. I'm going with Volkanovski, and I hope I lose to Fowler because he picked Holloway. I don't give a shit, Raph. Volkanovski.
Yeah, he has not officially picked Holloway, but let's hear if he does. Mason?
Yeah, so my pick would be Holloway. It would be, except I heard him in an interview saying that at the airport to fly out to Fight Island was the first time that he's seen his coaches since COVID, and he's been doing all of his training in Zoom classes. Zoom classes are meant for a kids' jiu-jitsu class, not for training for a UFC title fight. He was saying he hasn't sparred. I don't know how accurate it is, but if he's telling the truth, then I think Volkanovski is going to beat him again.
Oof. I have a burn from that hot take, Kev. Have you been taking any Zoom classes and just suddenly feel way less of a purple belt right now, Kevin?
Oh my God, no. And wow, is that not going to be helpful for me? Zoom jiu-jitsu classes would be, it'd be like, Kevin, what the F are you doing on your carpets? Like, is that not what you said? What was the drill? Oh, shit. Stop drinking a beer. You're embarrassing yourself. Oh, damn it. Yeah. Sorry.
Now-
We might start working on that, Raph. You and I, the Zoom jiu-jitsu coach.
Well, you know what's weird? Somebody got a belt, and it was for a gym that was closed down due to Corona. And they were saying, can you believe this? They haven't even trained. They just gave him a belt. I was like, well, there's online belts. Now there's going to be Zoom belts. So, just live with that world now, everybody. If you didn't like the Gracies before with the way of them giving promotions online, you're going to love Zoom belts.
All the stripes and belts that have been given recently are going to all the people that have continued paying the gym, even though the gym's closed. Like, thanks for the $800 you paid us in the past 6 months. Here's a belt.
I mean, that's essentially attendance. There are some schools that do that sort of a thing. I just know that I have explained to people, and I will continue to explain to people, that my promotion status is kind of in the quantum realm right now. And it's probably going to be there for a while. And I told people a long time ago, I was like, once I get to purple belt, I'm going to have a long Vegas residency as a purple belt. So, it's not like I'm looking at brown belt anytime soon. Let me go ahead and put this over to you, though, Kevin. Do you feel more concerned about Holloway now just playing video games, and that has been his training?
Yeah, that's actually very helpful, and I'm surprised it's the first time he's seen his coaches, because I definitely get some distancing, but it's like, oh, that's right. I guess maybe he hasn't. And the big part of this whole wild card, though, and maybe coaches matter more, maybe they matter less, is the fact that this is happening at this half-baked idea called Fight Island. I don't know. Does that favor Holloway then?
Who knows, dude? Everything's upside down. Fight Island is a unique thing into itself, and we are just navigating it all together. I would like to say this, though. We're going to move on to a flyweight bout. And before we do, just to let you know, Mason, there are wagers put on this, but because we all do jiu-jitsu and you've already spent all of your 10K on cocaine, we know. We don't put monetary wagers. Kevin, can you give him some example of wagers that have been made on this show before?
Yeah, I lost to William Tackett, so I am doing a speech, like a hot take on ESPN about how he's actually surpassed Keenan as the greatest youthful grappler talent. And I'm pretty stoked about that. Rumor has it's why Keenan left the internet. We'll find out if that's true. And, there's been some T-shirt exchanges. Craig Jones still owes us a video explaining that it's called a verbal tap. And he's an expert, because sometimes people call it a verbal submission, and that really angers us. So we want him to do us a PSA. So it's just a little 20-seconder. Things like that, kind of social media challenges, just posts and good-natured promo things.
So, without saying what it is,
or badass T-shirts. Sorry, Raph.
Without saying what it is, do you have a bet in mind? Mason.
Sorry, you cut out there for a sec.
No problem. I was just saying, without saying what it is, if you do have one in mind, do you have a bet in mind should you beat Kevin?
Between me and him?
Yes, it's just between you and him. Now, again, you don't have to say what it is. And if you don't have it right now, don't worry. There's still 4 more bouts. So I'm going to let you think on that while I go to you real quick and I ask you, who's going to win the flyweight bout between Rupolian Pava, or Rulian, versus Zaglas Zumiglov, which is kind of like if you put the alphabet in a blender and it came out with that. So, anyway, Rulian versus Zaglas. That is to you, Mason. Go.
Yeah, somehow he came out with 2 Z's in that one. I'm gonna go with Raulian Paiva.
Okay, as good a guess as any. Kevin, what do you have for us on this one?
You know what? I think it's finally time for us to team up on Team Paiva, because if anything, the double Z's is ridiculous. It's like, fix your name. That's a lot of Z's. And doesn't have a picture, by the way. Another unpictured here on the
Fair
sad
enough.
ESPN card.
Well, Kevin, let's keep this party going. Light heavyweight between Volkan Ozdemir versus
No
what
way
is
you're
that?
going to say this way.
No.
No way. Prashka.
Prashka.
Prashka. So I don't understand. Again, Prashka's, this must be one of the fights they replaced. It obviously is. They love Ozdemir. We all love Ozdemir. He's a very friendly, lovable guy that usually doesn't win. But I think he's going to in this one because he's facing some guy named Prashka that they're throwing in that they don't know about.
Fair enough. Mason, who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I got to team up with Kevin on this one. I got Ozdemir. I think he has more experience. He fought for the belt before. And Prashka, I think he's in over his head with this one.
Yikes. All right. We're going to the next pack.
Where
Sorry, Kevin.
are all
Did
the
you have some?
Saudi fighters? I'm just looking for some locals here. Like it's like they didn't even watch Mortal Kombat before they threw this whole thing together, Raph.
Kev, I think a lot of this is seed of pants because don't forget, Frankie Edgar was also supposed to be on one of these things too. There's 4 fights that are happening within the next 30 days here.
And you saw
So-
what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Island.
Yes,
Yes, Queen. We're headed to Abu
That's
Dhabi. It's what it's called. Yas Island.
So, Mason, you're going to continue this, a lightweight bout between Leonardo Santos and Roman Bagalov. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to go Leonardo Santos on this one.
Why?
Just because I've never heard of Roman Bagatov.
Oh, okay. Well, he hasn't heard of you either. So anyway, Kev, what do you got for us?
Well, Bogatov adds to the growing number of collections that leads me to believe there's going to be a podcast about where all the pictures are for these fights. Where are all the fighters? It's going to be, I mean, NPR will put it together, I presume, but I also am going to just let it ride with Bogota because I love that name.
Fair enough. All right, Kevin, I'm putting 30 seconds on the clock for our main event. Tell me how excited you are about it. Tell me who you think is going to win. And can a Fight Island miracle happen? 30 seconds to you. Go.
No, it effing can't. Enjoy your BAMF title. Kamara Usman is about to run through Masvidal. I do not think this is going to be a highly competitive fight, but I will say I love it for this exact reason. If you are going to get the BAMF, which you can still find on ESPN.com for $850, finally shipping, you should step up and fight when they pay you to do so. He's doing so. This is going to be a good one. And they apparently
Fair
did
enough.
pay. They did pay. So.
All right. You're done. Mason, 30 seconds on the clock for you. You excited about this one? And do you see Masvidal pulling it off?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite fights of all time. Masvidal is one of my top favorite fighters to watch. I've been a fan of his for a long time. And though it is going to be a struggle to beat Kamaru Usman on 6 days' notice with his cardio and his power advantage and the wrestling advantage, I think Masvidal is going to go in there and find a way to get it done.
Now, you say you've been a fan of his for a long time. Does that include the street beef stays?
Past that, he actually fought one of my training partners, a guy that I was training with in Fresno named Billy Evangelista. He fought him in Strikeforce a long time ago, and that's when that's when he kind of came onto the scene for me. So, man, it's probably over 10 years I've been watching him.
Was it hard to be against him in that fight? Because obviously you became a fan after it, but when you watch somebody, did you already have an impressment to what he was doing back then?
Yeah, I mean, since he's been in Bodog fights and Strikeforce and Elite XC, you can always tell that he's really talented. He has some of the sharpest striking in MMA in any weight class, and he's really fun to watch. And man, he fights. He fights hard.
Kev, do you think that he's overplaying this hand on saying that he hasn't been training that much? Do you think that he secretly has been waiting for this to happen because of COVID and he was betting on it?
I already got a little nervous hearing Mason's intricate analysis, but I wouldn't put it past Masvidal to have just been like taking this time to tour the Philippines and get into his underground fight ring shape. He's been wanting to do it for a while, like a chef that tours. He's thought, where can I get into some street fights for basically 100 US? And I cannot wait to see what all the time he's put into shows us in the cage.
Fair enough. All right, Mason. So one of the things that we do in case there is a tie, and you guys have picked a few of them, I have to double check how it all stacks up here. But if there is a tie, we go to performances of the night and fight of the night. So 2 individual fighters are singled out for performances of the night, and there is 1 fight that gets fight of the night. So do you have 2 performers that you think will get performances of the night and a fight of the night for us?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go performance of the night, Rebus. Performance of the night, Masvidal. And fight of the night, Peter Yan and Jose Aldo.
Kev?
Okay. I am going to easily give fight of the night to Usman Masvidal. That's got to be built into the contract. I'm going to give our first performance of the night to Andrade. I'm going to double down on that pick. And then I'm going to give the second one to Oezdemir because we don't know if he's fighting a real human being.
Fair enough. So, Mason, we mentioned earlier that there is usually some kind of wager. So we've given you some time to think about it. Do you have a wager in mind should you be the winner?
I want to hear. I'm a betting man, so I'm down to put a bet on it. I want to hear, see if Kevin has any ideas, because nothing comes to mind.
Okay. Kevin, do you have some ideas that you would like to throw at Mason?
Absolutely. First, well, hold on. Didn't we start this? It was 251. Shit. What was I thinking was going to be the song to this? From, hold on. It was a Craig Jones thing. So if I won, I was going to see if I could talk him into a cheetah uniform.
Okay.
Not Craig's, but like a white version or like a tiger, something that stands out a little bit but is still exotic. Not going to make him look foolish. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Fair enough. Mason, is that something you're interested in, or do you have a counter here?
Yeah. As long, if you make something and send it to me, I'll wear it.
Fair. Okay, so then if you lose, then does he send you something? Like, how does that work for him?
Oh, yeah. Shit, I forgot about that part. So if he wins, let's see. I mean, we could send him a verbal tap shirt. That doesn't sound as fun, but...
I'll take it.
Hey, we have an accord.
Wow.
In these Corona times, you got to take whatever you can get, man.
Yeah, no shit. Everybody's turned into hunters and gatherers, and it's like, you bring me berries and a shirt, and we'll call it even.
Yeah, you might run out of toilet paper, so you got to have some extra stuff here just in case.
It's fair enough, but if you put fucking any kind of residue on that fucking shirt, I will murk you myself, my friend. There's not a lot of fighting words things that will ever get me, but if you ever desecrate the verbal tap flag, you and me are throwing down very quickly and very pathetically. I'll tell you that much.
I just hope I don't run out of toilet paper, man.
I've put my warning down very well. I don't think I have any more words I need to say
appalled.
about it.
He's such a good American boy until, damn it,
Yeah.
We run into this.
No.
And now it's like,
he
oh,
doesn't
I
even
hate him
wear
again.
shirts anyway. You
He's a
see the way
crazy
he can
grappling fighter.
And I guess Mason, are you, so they've said in the previous Submission Undergrounds that you guys have to wear rash guards. And I was wondering, is that going to stay in place with Craig? Because by the time you guys were about to do your prom dance, in the stance of a fight pose off, he was already sans rash guard. And it made me think, I was like, I don't know, dude. They might actually yell at Chael to break that rule for just this one time.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 straight up man dimes in the main event. Let us pop the tops. Let us pop the tops. Give the people what they want.
Man dimes.
I know. We
You know
finally
what,
got it. It
Kev?
was like, what an no, nothing. That's the best thing anyone said all night. He's in charge now.
I'm just gonna make sure if we don't
Let
own
us pop this.
mandimes.com that we'll be
Start
the first to
hashtag.
go ahead.
Start the hashtag. Hashtag pop the top.
Pop the
Yeah, sure.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? We've always called it ADCC style, but now we may have to change it to pop the top. That might be pretty funny, though. I will warn you, knowing the internet, be careful what you wish for with that particular hashtag. Anyway, Mason, we're excited to see you next week on Sunday compete. As a sort of thing that we do as a courtesy is we always say, would you be willing to come back next week after the fights and after Submission Underground, and we find a time to talk about the fights that happen this weekend?
Yeah, of course. Yep, we'll set it up.
Absolutely. Now, Kevin, do you have any parting words to Mason before he gets on out of here?
I absolutely do not. Game respects game. I'm letting the pop the top comment just exist, and I'll say thanks for listening.
Fair enough. Well, Mason, we're going to let you get on out of here. We thank you for your time today. We look forward to seeing you this weekend. And you know what? Go beat Craig. He's a friend of the show, but you go beat him. You were on the show more recently, so that's who we root for.
I'll do it for you guys.
Mason, thanks for coming on the show.
Yep, thanks for having me.
And
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is